All three Disneyland Resort hotels currently undergoing some changes. Both theme parks experiencing some major crowds as we enter the fall season officially. And the D23 announcements you need to know about that affect the resort overall. It's time to drop into Disneyland. Hey there, hi there, ho there, you are as welcomed as can be. How's it going, everybody? Wade for the Kingdom Report back with you once again, covering all the latest Disneyland news, Disneyland changes, and Disneyland updates coming out of the happiest place on earth, the Disneyland Resort. It's so great to have you with us once again as we swing on into the Halloween season and enjoy ourselves a little bit of Disneyland magic. Big news up front today, right after you enter the gates, you'll notice, just like we did, the AstroTurf that is now laid at the iconic Mickey floral area. This now taking the place of lots of grass throughout the property, mainly due to California's record drought and the inability to water the way Disney would like. Being environmentally friendly probably never looked so good, as this really allows for the flowers to pop. And as we head down Main Street, USA, the cooler temperatures have finally arrived in Southern California, allowing us to actually enjoy the decor with character for this time of year. And one of the highlights of this trip was being able to see that the Silhouette Studio that we have chronicled for you for the last year and a half of being closed, well, the doors are open, the windows have been exposed, and there was a line out the door of anxious people waiting to get their silhouettes cut once again. Finally, the Silhouette Studio has rejoined the retail fray on Main Street, USA, and we are thrilled that they are back. Congratulations to all involved, and welcome home. From Main Street, USA, we jump back to New Orleans Square, where we finally have an answer as to exactly what is coming to the old Le Baton Rouge shop alongside the Blue Bayou. We've been watching this location for the last year, especially since it got repainted in, we'll just say, suspicious colors relating, of course, to Princess and the Frog, and that is because this will now be known as Eudora's Chic Boutique, featuring Tiana's Gourmet Secrets. The shop opening its doors officially September the 20th. Cast members were training inside on our visit. We can't wait to see this new retail shop having a nod to the Princess and the Frog franchise back here in New Orleans Square, especially as we move over to Critter Country here in a bit to talk about the Splash Mountain retheme that is all Princess and the Frog related. Out on the riverfront at Rivers of America, it's worth noting that Fantasmic, the nighttime spectacular that could be seen here nightly through the summertime, well, it has now gone to its weekend-only schedule, mainly because summer is gone in Disney's eyes and we are moving on into fall. Therefore, it is considered the off-season, even though the crowds are heavier than ever. More on that in just a bit. And speaking of crowds, the immensely popular overlay of Haunted Mansion Holiday has returned, been back in effect now for a few weeks, and with it, it has brought back all of the demand, 45 to 65-minute waits consistently throughout the day. If you are looking to ride this, we encourage you to do so first thing in the morning if you get there in the early AM. From New Orleans Square to Critter Country we go next, as Splash Mountain is counting down the days for it to shut its doors to be made over into Tiana's Bayou Adventure. That's right, Princess and the Frog moving into this attraction to make a new home. We did see at the D23 Expo exactly what that will look like based on their scale model. Now, the concept art we saw about 2 years ago, from that to this, things have been dramatically scaled back. Outside of the water tower in the upper right and some of the elements at the very top of the mountain, things do not look very different on the outside. However, the inside scenes are really what will be worked on. And at the base of the mountain, the Briar Patch retail shop will also be getting some cosmetic enhancements for the sake of going right alongside the Princess and the Frog storyline. So looking forward to seeing all the enhancements. We do imagine that Splash Mountain will go under the knife probably just after the first of the year. From Critter Country, we fly on over to Fantasyland now, where it's time to check in on an attraction that recently went under the knife but did not have a return date for the longest time, leaving many people to wonder, is this even going to be open by the holiday season? What are we talking about? Of course, Matterhorn Mountain. This is an attraction that we have shared with you before, continues to be rebuilt from within, which is why it goes under the knife so dang much. That's why so many times out of the year, you take a look at whether or not this ride is operating, and it's typically not. Well, we do have good news, and that is the attraction will be back in operation starting October the 13th. Just behind Fantasyland, we head on over to Toontown, which of course is currently undergoing a major land-wide overhaul scheduled to come back to us in spring of 2023. But for the time being, there is some reimagining going on behind these walls, not just with Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway being built in its entirety, but also the reimagining of the areas that currently exist. For example, Goofy's house will now be accessible once again as a play area. In addition to the play area, will also come Goofy's how-to-play yard that you can enjoy, and Donald's boat has been saved according to the D23 Expo, and a water play area will be installed in and around Donald's boat for future enjoyment. Thrilled to see that will be taking shape. Another announcement at D23 worth mentioning is that the Disney 100-year celebration is really going to be taking shape inside the Disneyland Resort specifically, and that will bring with it all kinds of platinum decor, new food offerings, character experiences, and a new nighttime spectacular called Wondrous Journeys. This is something that will feature nods to all 60 Walt Disney Animation Studios films to date, taking everybody on a journey filled with artistry, music, storytelling, and of course, a lot of heart that begins in the new year. Speaking of D23 announcements, something that did not get any acknowledgement this time around was over here in Adventureland. That, of course, being the old Tarzan's Treehouse location that has been under wraps now for the better part of a year. What the heck is going on back here? D23 with no acknowledgement that this was even something on the front burner, and now we wait to see exactly what they are going to do with this space now that they have eliminated one half of the two-part tree and left the other one completely behind scrims. Speaking of D23 silence, the area most people were looking forward to hearing about, and certainly the biggest rumor going into the D23 Expo, was the future of Tomorrowland, if you'll pardon the pun. This land inside Disneyland Park remains very much a vacant land by space use standards. Of course, the Magic Eye Theater, as seen here, used to play host to Honey, I Shrunk the Audience and Captain EO, now has just been sitting completely empty. And Starcade, of course, plays to the occasional crowd when they hold special events inside of its space. Beyond that, don't even get us started on the concept art that they keep up in front of the land as saying, here's what is supposed to come at some point. Been sitting out there for years now, even faded to a certain degree as to what was going to be put in front of the land to sort of usher in a new era. And yes, the decaying tracks up above all of our heads for the old People Mover system. If anything, people were sort of anticipating hearing about a new People Mover coming to Disneyland Park. And don't get us started on this either, but Star Wars Launch Bay, the major double-decker building that takes up a huge portion of this land, has just been dark since Disneyland reopened, the occasional meet and greet happening outside of it now. However, Disney did announce here a couple weeks ago, and this got us very nervous about whether or not D23 was going to do anything in regards to Tomorrowland announcements. They did announce that a Disney Vacation Club lounge was going to come to the second story of Star Wars Launch Bay in the new year, which gave us great fear that we were not going to be seeing anything relating to Tomorrowland enhancements, upgrades, or overhauls anytime soon. And of course, Star Tours remains an attraction sort of out of sorts now that it has its entire land dedicated to it in a completely different part of Disneyland Park. Speaking of, we jump back to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, where Chewbacca was out and about saying hello to his adoring fans, making sure that everybody got the attention that they so deserved. We gallop on into Frontierland now and into Zocalo Park, the area right alongside Rancho del Zocalo, where they completely retheme this space this time of year to Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead celebration. Also, not just a vivid and vibrant area as they bring it to life celebrating this iconic season, but also a great place to meet characters from Coco and Encanto if you are so interested. Friends, let's talk about crowds for a second. They are swelling right now, and even though Disney considers this to be the off-season based on their entertainment availability, there are no reservations available consistently on weekdays and weekends. Why? Well, the culprit is this right here, the Oogie Boogie Bash at California Adventure, the separate ticketed special event, the Halloween party that goes on between now and October the 31st on select nights, continues to push crowds from one direction to another. And on party nights, it can be especially packed inside Disneyland Park specifically. So, if you are coming to the theme parks between now and Halloween, and you don't have a ticket for the Oogie Boogie Bash, keep in mind that on party nights at California Adventure, Disneyland will be very quiet during the day, and then when that 1 p.m. crossover time comes for those guests that might have a park hopper ticket to come on over from California Adventure, from 1 p.m. on, it will build and build and build to a point where it will be pandemonium, absolutely packed inside the parks at night. However, the daytime should be a little bit more desirable for you. I would say go to California Adventure on those non-party days to really get your money's worth. Tale of the Lion King now happening several times a day on the Fantasyland Theater stage inside Disneyland Park. A vibrant and emotional show, to say the least. We head across the Esplanade now to the very busy Disney California Adventure Park, the epicenter of all things spooky and home of Oogie Boogie's Bash. Like I told you, all things spooky. Even look at the Carthay Circle Theater steeple. We got bats coming out of there, even in the middle of the day. Unbelievable. And then just beyond the shrubbery, we also see, coming back to us this year, is the Headless Horseman. A great photo op during the day and an even better photo op at night. And we move on into Hollywoodland now, where an attraction that was close to us a couple weeks ago has recently reopened. And we are excited to see that not only is the front door of Monsters, Inc. Mike and Sully to the Rescue open again, but we're also happy to see that the TLC continues on the facade of this mega dark ride attraction, and that is because there is so many different color panels that need all that extra attention. Just across the way, the Hollywood backlot stage remains completely dark during the day, and benches have been removed for the sake of this being a treat station for the Oogie Boogie Bash. A shame that there isn't a consistent show here to bring in the crowds, and that the Oogie Boogie Bash takes away all the seating during the day, just for the sake of that party's space, I guess. Directly behind that, the Hollywood Lounge has recently come out from under wraps, and we see a splash of color as well as this new logo, the big Hollywood Lounge sign, really beckoning to all, hey, come get your alcohol, come get your booze, you're going to be taken care of back here. Some new digital billboards also put up for the sake of ordering efficiently, and some additional seating thrown in. Right next door to that, Stage 12 remains completely shuttered. We've been watching it for you over the course of the last few months as they have put some character meet and greets back here in front of the building, but now it's completely blocked off and we can't even access the area anymore. We also were taking a look at the Hyperion Theater here in Hollywoodland and thought maybe we would hear something about it during the D23 Expo, kind of what the next major show was going to be for this venue. Not a word, and it remains offline at this time. A 2,000 plus seat theater completely unutilized during the day here at California Adventure. Now, something we did here at D23 was the fact that Avengers Campus will be getting its next major attraction, but it won't be the Quinjet ride like we were promised. Interesting, right? Disney CEO Bob Chapek, Kevin Feige, the head of Marvel, as well as the chairman of Disney Parks, Josh D'Amaro, all said there is a new concept that they came up with instead of the Quinjet ride. So this giant prop on top of the Avengers building of the Quinjet, I guess will just be there for fun. And now there's going to be a new ride developed behind this area that will be dedicated to the multiverse, a multiverse where Thanos won and is now considered king So, fascinating to say the least. However, they did not give a timeline as to when this new attraction would even break ground for the sake of being built out and expanding Avengers Campus into something a little bit bigger.
Happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween to you too, Lightning, dressed up in his Halloween's best. We move on into Cars Land now, where it is by far, I think, the cutest and most well-appointed land for the season inside California Adventure. You get a chance to poke around in here, it is totally worth it. You also want to take advantage of 2 new themed Halloween attractions, and that is, of course, Luigi's Honkin' Halloween and Mater's Junkyard Jamboree, transformed into Mater's Graveyard Jamboree. In addition to that, we wanted to make mention that the Curios Store, which has been closed since Disneyland reopened last year, well, they've added a little bit of a merch booth right in front of the doors. Now there's a cast member there selling some leather goods, if you are so inclined. Another announcement from D23 is that the Pacific Wharf area of the park is going to be transformed and reimagined into San Francisco from Big Hero 6, where East meets West and technology meets tradition. Now, Imagineers are in the early phases of this work, but you can see glimpses of what's to come for children of all ages, the young and the young at heart, they say. There will be also a place to meet Baymax, plus some new spots to eat and shop, including some overhauls of current favorites like the Pacific Wharf Cafe. Looking forward to San Francisco taking over this space. Right next door at Pixar Pier, the D23 Expo also made the announcement that there will be a new World of Color show coming to World of Color Bay. It's going to be called World of Color 1. It'll celebrate the storytelling legacy started by Walt Disney a century ago, and it will tell a new story of how a single action, like a drop of water, creates a ripple that can grow into a wave of change. It brings some of the most courageous, loving, and inspiring characters to life in new ways. The show will also feature a new original song entitled Start a Wave. This, of course, is all a part of Disney's 100-year celebration. Again, I said, a lot of this is taking place right here at the Disneyland Resort. That includes World of Color 1, a new World of Color show coming next year. We slide on back to the Paradise Garden section of the park to Plaza De La Familia. This area made over for the celebration of Dia de los Muertos in this park, and of course, to elevate it even further, is a celebration of Coco. This is one of my favorite little Streetmosphere entertainment offerings that happens throughout the year. Puppetry and music from the film that is oh so touching. Further back into the Plaza de la Familia, you can experience all things Dia de los Muertos, including all the symbolism attached to the film of Coco itself. And in addition to that, free arts and crafts, of course, an ability to leave a memory or an everlasting bond written on the memory tree back here. This is something that has really taken on a life of its own in recent years, as this continues to be something that is offered up to anybody for free that they would like to participate in. It is something that I know everybody that comes back here likes to do, and if you want to read through some of these memories, some of these everlasting bonds, it'll bring a tear to your eye. Along with that, live entertainment in this section of the park, including the Mariachi Divas, the Grammy Award-winning group that continues to bring lively excitement to this space and all throughout California Adventure during the year. You can also meet Miguel from Coco right back here in his own themed meet and greet if you are so interested. In addition to that, a new menu gets infused into the Paradise Garden Grill for this season, and it is ever so popular. That's because they offer up sort of a unique take on Mexican food outside of Cocina Cucamonga elsewhere in the park. We soar on over to Grizzly Peak now, where the front of that land still has walls up, blocking the area where the prop airplane used to be, getting some touch-ups off-site right now, and will be back to us in the near future. And further up the trail, we see that the giant grizzly is celebrating Halloween the best way he knows how, with that trick-or-treat pail firmly in his grasp. We move from here out to Disney's Grand Californian Hotel and Spa, where rumor has it the lobby has been taken over by something ghoulish and edible. The giant Oogie Boogie cauldron, 4 feet tall and entirely edible, returns to the Grand Californian lobby for the season of Halloween. A great photo op to say the least. Whether you're staying here or not, definitely snap a pic of this. We exit out the backside of the lobby now to see lots of facade work going on, including a wall that has been erected in front of all of the green space just outside the hotel. And this makes it a little claustrophobic in this area, mainly because the walls feel like they're closing in a little bit. However, it just is facade work, just some touch-ups going on. And yes, the pool is still open, even though you have to find the opening in order to get to the gate to access the pool at this point. We cross the street now to Disney's Paradise Pier Hotel, where there is plenty of cosmetic work happening here as well. Disney's Paradise Pier Hotel now having its signage completely removed off the building, and its iconic wave lighting at the very top, the sort of trim of the building, has also been stripped away piece by piece. This, of course, the section you can see from within Disney California Adventure Park, and that is because the Paradise Pier Hotel is now going to be referred to as Pixar Place Hotel. This is because D23 made the announcement that more Pixar, more magic, and more imagination is being infused into this space in the coming months. That is part of a previously announced reimagining plan for this hotel, but now we have a name, as Pixar Place was shared with us. The hotel will weave the artistry of Pixar into its comfortable, contemporary setting, including fantastic areas for everyone to enjoy, including a new Finding Nemo themed splash pad area out at the pool. We even spotted the color palette being tested on the facade, which, you tell me, do you like what you see? It is dramatically different from what we are used to out here on the Paradise Pier Hotel. Of course, I think that's the plan, right? To be dramatically different from what we've always known as this reimagination continues to take shape. Another really great aspect of what this hotel will become is really all things Pixar. So imagine, if you will, lots and lots of different IP from Pixar being infused into this property and into your rooms as a guest. Another thing that we noticed in the last year and a half is that food and beverage has been offline this entire time in the hotel. Well, now we have our answer as to why, and that is because an entirely new company is taking over as the runner of all things food and beverage. That is Great Maple. They will open a new flagship restaurant on the first floor and operate other food and beverage locations throughout the Pixar Place Hotel. This modern American eatery specializes in upscale comfort food with a twist, serving fresh takes on American classics for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We move from the Paradise Pier, or Pixar Place Hotel, on over to the Disneyland Hotel now, where things just continue to get more and more blue. They cannot stop themselves with all this blue. In fact, the Frontier Tower being one of the last remaining towers to still be that sort of beige khaki with the blue of old, and soon will be entirely new blue, as the remaining adventure and fantasy towers have become. We also see lots of construction work happening just underneath the Sorcerer Mickey hat. All kinds of repaving and grading work happening here, and it looks like they are getting ready to pour some different swirls of cement underneath this hat to keep the whimsy going underneath this space. Further into the property we go as the Disney Vacation Club Tower construction project continues to take shape just beyond the monorail pool. You see off in the distance, it continues to grow and is almost at the same height level as the Frontier Tower on the far left. You see here what the concept art looks like, and this is what the Disney Vacation Club Tower will ultimately become, bringing its own pool on the backside as well for its own guests. However, as of right now, this is what we're looking at from a construction standpoint. It's very exciting because some glass has been moved in for the sake of room windows. This is taking shape very quickly. We slide on into the downtown Disney district now, where Halloween is taking over the construction walls, and a reminder that you can join in on the fun of Pluto's Pumpkin Pursuit. This, of course, is the scavenger hunt throughout the downtown Disney district of all of the pumpkins hidden in and around the area for you to figure out exactly where they happen to be. If you're interested in joining the fun, just in front of the Pin Trader station here in downtown Disney, a special table has been set up for your questions. And to get an activity book, the cost is $9.99, and if you find them all, you can win yourself a prize like your very own trick-or-treat pail of Mickey scope and size, that is. Elsewhere in the downtown Disney district, there is a celebration of Hispanic and Latin American cultures going on as we speak. You can enjoy some free arts and crafts in the area just outside of the ESPN Zone building, and you can also enjoy yourself some live entertainment most nights in the district. Alongside the ESPN Zone location is a new mural celebrating all things Coco and the Plaza De La Familia from within California Adventure. A new photo op, to be sure, in this location on the old ESPN Zone building. It's no secret that the downtown Disney district has been under construction for a while now, especially this west end of the property, as Disney has announced they wanted to reimagine the west side going towards the Disneyland Hotel. And now you see on their official map that really the ESPN Zone building doesn't even have a marker. It's just sort of there in the bottom right, and then the upper right is essentially a forest, and that is because finally at the D23 Expo they gave us a few ideas as to what is coming to this area. They said that the downtown Disney district plans to introduce more than a dozen new and reimagined locations. Earlier this year, they announced that Din Tai Fung, a world-renowned Asian restaurant that originated in Taiwan, specializing in soup dumplings, will join the district with its authentic cuisine. In addition to that, Porto's Bakery and Cafe, an iconic Southern California destination known across the country for its sweet pastries and desserts, as well as delicious California Cuban-inspired dishes, will be coming to the downtown Disney district in the future. All announced at the D23 Expo to massive applause. And we like to give you a bird's eye view as to what's going on beyond the construction area going towards the Disneyland Hotel. A lot more construction vehicles have been brought in. Grading work has begun for foundationary purposes, which means building will likely begin here in the next few months. What are you most looking forward to seeing coming to the downtown Disney District's expansion project? No doubt an entire new look, an entire fresh vibe coming to the West End. Exciting to see that the Disneyland Resort property continues to expand in little ways, no matter what. Before we get out of here, I think it's worth mentioning that the D23 Expo confirmed that the Magic Happens Parade is returning in early 2023 for the first time in forever. Hey, my friends, before we jump, make sure you are subscribed to the channel with that notification bell turned on and hit that thumbs up button. It means an awful lot. And for the Kingdom Report, I'm Wade Heath. We'll see you next time for another installment of the Disneyland Drop-In.
To this happy place, welcome.